Hello everyone. Today we have Alexander Kirilenko on our live webinar. He's a prolific character artist in the world. He spent 10 plus years creating high-end characters. Now he is working for Fox 3D Studio as an art director. He is unquestionably top character artist in the industry today. Let's welcome Alexander to our webinar. Hello Alexander.
Hey guys, good to be here. Just give me a second, I'm just doing something on the side. By the way, does the sound make some distraction because I can close the window otherwise?
Uh, this is fine for me.
Okay.
Guys, this is.
Cool.
Is there any problem to hear us? There is no problem. We can
Okay, cool.
start.
Cool. Well, I guess just briefly about myself. I've been doing this for, I would say more than half of my life. So that's a strange thing to have. So I started as a modeler. I was doing a bunch of things that were lying on my table because I just enjoyed it. And then eventually I moved on to doing some cinematics. I worked at Platige. I have some clients down here. I worked at Platige, then I got my first gig in video games. I was making some assets for Natural Selection 2, I think, just a bunch of other things. Then I move on. I went away and I spent a year in Italy with a friend of mine, and I decided that I wanted to do some video games because I thought that video games will be kinda new cinematics almost. I never wanted to be a game developer. I still don't want to be a game developer. I consider myself to be an artist. So what I was doing for cinematics, I was hoping that video games will eventually begin doing. So that's why I went to Rome. I stayed there for 10 months and I learned how to do more or less how to do video games. That was the first time I did some texturing, the first time I did some real-time I guess topology and all of those things. Everything related to video games I had to learn. It was probably 2010, 11-ish, something like that. And then after that I moved back to Estonia, where I got my job at Starbreeze Studios. Sorry, I moved to Estonia, but I started to apply, and Starbreeze is in Stockholm. So officially, that was my first studio job. That was Starbreeze. I don't remember which year it was, but it was. I would say it was interesting. It was fun. There were a lot of good things happening there, and I've met some really good guys. One of my good friends, he's now at Naughty Dog, so that was quite cool. And in the meantime, I was still working on my personal things. So mostly I enjoy doing something that is. I'm not even sure how to explain this. I'm not even sure whether I have this kind of style or some kind of genre. But the way I think about it is that if you read some literature, there's the genre called magical realism. It's a really good genre, and I think that's what I kind of try to do. Definitely, some cases it's very realistic, but the most enjoyable things for me is something like this, where I have characters that I would say realistically as much as I can. Done realistically, but there's something about them that they just don't really fit in real world. There's something interesting about it. So that's why I enjoy it the most. And the last thing that I did in a I would say like physical studio environment was at Ninja Theory, and one of the projects that I worked there was Bleeding Edge. So those 3 characters are the ones that I made there. So this is Kulev, the guy with the snake. So it really fit what I enjoy doing. It's not cartoony. It's not exactly realistic. It's some kind of blend, and so that was a really fun project to work on. And today I'm a character art director here at Fox 3D. I'm doing some managing. I'm taking care of kind of the aesthetical side of things. I try to make things look as good as they can be, and at the same time I'm running some mentorships. So I have it on my website up here. So it's one-on-one mentorships. It's either one time or it's a full thing where an artist starts from scratch and we go through the whole process, and it's quite an interesting experience. It's a great, amazing experience to see how people improving, getting better, getting the knowledge, so they can get into the industry, they can get some confidence in themselves, in the skill, and all of those things. And at the same time, I have some tutorials that I release every now and then. It's not, I guess it's not as often, but it's just that those tutorials, they take a lot of time to make. Well, I guess I can say that I'm properly obsessed with perfection, or just making things as good as they can be. So doing the actual production for the tutorial, something like this, is actually the easiest part. That's the fastest thing, and the rest is just editing the sound and making sure that the videos are nicely paced, that people don't fall asleep while they're watching the tutorials, all of those things. So I kind of think about these things in this way. I try to make every product that I have as good as they can be, and that's why but definitely that's why, even though I've been doing this for 17-18 years, this is kind of everything that I have in terms of my personal things, apart from those three that are professional, because I just, again, I kind of want to spend as much time as I want. And plus my projects, and this is something that I encourage other people to do, is that my projects, the way my mind works, is that it picks something that I don't know how to do, and I'm basically forced to do it because my mind doesn't take no for an answer. So for example, this project, I wanted to learn how to make detail maps. It's something that I saw Naughty Dog released. They had a presentation about the Uncharted 4 tech stuff, and they didn't explain much, but I thought that this is something that I need to learn. So this character was exactly that. It was mainly about technical things in production. So the detail maps, the stitches on different TV channels, all of those kind of things. And plus I wanted, for the first time, I think I wanted to do some kind of storytelling in my characters. So this is my first unintentional attempt at that. But that's why I don't really have that many works, I would say. It's because every single one of them, it takes just ridiculous amount of time to make, because I'm learning so much. I'm learning about game engines, I'm learning about, for example, some Substance Designer, in this case Substance Painter, Mari, Maya, different kinds of tools, all kinds of things. So it's definitely a good thing that I have it, because I'm kind of preparing myself for things that might come during the production. So I have some skills, or at least the understanding of oh wow, sorry about the noise. I think there is a ghost in my place, and it just turned on the printer, but whatever. So yeah, I'm kind of unintentionally preparing myself for something that I might encounter during the production. So it's a good thing, but the bad thing is that every single character is at least like 4 months to complete. So I would say that's a brief that's a brief history, and a bit of about me, I suppose.
We can see your actually how you take 4 months or 5 months to create a like this quality character. We can see it from your work. So it is a great that you are here with us. So I have some questions for you.
Sure.
Yeah. The first question is how you actually started the 3D journey, 3D art, and how you learn actually from where and how.
So I learned it by myself. Well, I don't want to say by myself. It was early 2000s, so the sources for learning were manuals, those things that come with
Yeah.
every single program. But I think people now they don't even go there. But I used to read manuals, and it was different kind of environment. It was forums, so people would just sit at forums and they would share the knowledge, they would share the image, and people would just ask. They would just go like, hey, how did you do that? And people would just answer. Nowadays, because everything is so fast paced, if you go to Facebook and you ask something, you definitely get an answer, but it probably won't be as in depth of an answer as it used to be in forums. So I was just hanging out, making friends, doing this 3D work and trying things, practicing and doing a lot of modeling, then just doing a lot of sculpting. And because I didn't really want to learn texturing because it was so technical back in the day. We needed to know Photoshop, and I found it to be the most unintuitive process because it's kind of like painting on 2D piece of paper, and then somehow it translates into 3D. So for my brain, it didn't look like a good idea to do something like that. So I put it off for a long time. So first time I think I tried texturing was exactly in Rome. So that's prior to that I was modeling and sculpting for close to 10 years, and then I just started to texture. But it's mostly just trying things. You're just trying something that you want to do, and then when you hit the wall you kind of punch through it. You just go and look for the answer everywhere. You try things yourself first of all. That's something that is definitely a good thing because it teaches you confidence and teaches you almost like physically you understand that you are capable of finding an answer by your own. But then just going online and doing a bunch of searches.
Yeah. We can from a self learner to a art director. It's a long journey and it's a successful, and also is a it's a great actually. It's great good to hear from a self learner to art director. It's a
Yeah, yeah,
great journey. So let's move forward for the next question.
sure.
Uh, your advice, your advice for aspiring artists, where they should start, how they should learn actually.
Um, well, since I've been manager, the lead character artist, and then the art director here at Fox 3D, I got the chance of um, of getting to see what the I guess shortcomings were of some of the artists, and I would say, and let me just open ZBrush so we are a little bit more professional here.
Yes.
I would say that the things that are the most obvious, at least to me, they're still lacking. So things like, for example, anatomy, that is still lacking. Even though there's so much material out there, there's so many workshops, there's so many ways to learn the anatomy, it's still one of the biggest things that I see is missing. And I think it comes down to this. I don't want to say it's a problem, but it definitely feels like a problem. It's just that because the tools are getting so good and so powerful, it's almost like a trap. It's almost feels like, let's make something, and then if it looks good, it's kind of done. But that's not how it works. The foundations, the knowledge about things, they should be developed through basically ground zero. You just go from down all the way to the top, and nowadays we kind of start somewhere in the middle, and so there's no foundation. So I would say nowadays I would just encourage people to learn those things. I would encourage people to learn anatomy, to learn modeling, to learn To learn clothing, not just rely on Marvelous as such, but to actually
By the
dissect
time they actually pick up
dissect
that
some of
drink,
the
there's no getting in the way
some of the
that.
pictures
Like,
and
that
all those
decision
things. So
has so much
it's
momentum behind it that it's almost
it all comes down back to the basics. It really is. It's not about the tools as such, but it's the understanding of what makes things look good, what makes the harmony, what makes the balance, and all of that. So I would say learn modeling, learn anatomy, and learn to teach yourself to analyze things that you see. Don't simply rely on the forms that you see immediately. Don't think that Marvelous will give you the best results. Don't think that Substance Painter by clicking on something will give you the best texture that is out there. Everything has to be developed. Everything has to be learned. So I would say, even though everything is moving so fast nowadays, the best thing to do is to slow down and just focus on those fundamental things.
Okay, definitely. So, and third question is tips for young artists for effective work today.
Could you repeat that again? I have some connection issues.
Oh, no, it's fine for
Okay.
us. So, yeah. Is it any problem, guys?
No, it just my sound was a little bit off. Could you repeat the question? It's all good.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, your tips for the young artist for effective work today.
Um, I would say if you want to be effective, you need to understand what exactly that you are trying to achieve. What exactly is your main goal? So if you want to be an artist, if you want to be a video game artist, if you want to be a film artist, I would say realize one crucial thing, that it's an industry. Whatever that you're going to get is going to be a job inside of an industry. So this industry has its own demands, it has its own rules, it has its own standards and all those things. So if you want to be effective as an artist, I would say you need to be realistic about what exactly that you're getting yourself into. And I don't want it to sound like it's something bad that you're getting yourself into, but if it's naive to think that inside of an industry everything that we're going to be doing is kind of the same thing that we do in our personal time, where we just can draw, we can sculpt something fun and all those things. It's going to be different. It's going to be basically everything that the company needs is going to be allocated to you. So if it needs to have a character that has all the crazy and realistic textures, hair, presentation, all of that, so you need to know all of those things. So I would say if you want to be effective, knowing exactly what you're getting yourself into, the best thing here is to be disciplined. So learn those things that the industry demands. Learn how to make hair, learn the anatomy. Again, just to repeat myself, all of those things. So do not fall into the trap of making something that is just fun, that you kind of do speed sculpting, even though you might be doing this for only 1 year, and then you see, I don't know, somebody like Raffaele Grassetti, who is an amazing artist and who's been doing this for close to 20 years as well. And on Instagram, for example, he has all those really cool illustrations that it feels like he's releasing them daily. That's just absolutely insane. But do not think that what he does is just this kind of speed sculpting. What he does is speed sculpting for fun. But prior to that, he spent like 15 years doing all of those things kind of professionally, putting the time into that. So I would say be disciplined. Force yourself, if you need to, just force yourself to complete something. Do not just leave something as half done. Make yourself a portfolio, so you can show the client exactly what you're capable of. At least there's some kind of examples of your potential. If a few elements are going to be missing from your portfolio, for example, if you have a lot of characters, but none of them have the hair. Me personally, if I would just select somebody for a job, I would just brush the person away, because I don't know whether the person can do hair or not. So it's discipline. It's really being kind of, you know, strict with yourself, saying, okay, I want to get into this industry. I'm going to research what exactly is demanded by this industry. What are the tools? What are the programs and all of those things, and just learn them. Once you're there, once you're inside of the industry, once you have a job, then in that case, definitely do something that is more kind of fun, I would guess. That's not to say, by the way, that you shouldn't have any fun while you're being this disciplined. Definitely have as much fun as you can, but just be realistic and be precious with your time. Like this is a good time to actually learn of those things, develop those things, instead of spending them on something that is just kind of, oh, I'm going to make something fun. If it doesn't have any practical, I guess, aspect to that, you cannot use them inside of your portfolio. Then it's I don't want to say it's a waste of time, but it's definitely not going to do you any good if you want to be effective.
Yes. So, my next question is, what should be habits to an effective artist, and which habits should be avoided actually?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would say the habits to develop, the habits to have, is be sure that you can take the blame and responsibility for whatever that you might have messed up, something that you haven't done, something you forgot, something that went wrong, something that the other person is suffering because of. So all of these things, do not make any excuses, do not say that I didn't have any time, that blah 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 blah. Don't be this kind of person. Be the kind of person who is responsible for everything that he or she does. So it's definitely one of those it's not even a habit, it's not even a skill, it's just something, it's an attitude in life that will definitely serve you well outside of work as well. Another thing is, I would say, if you find yourself in a situation where you, let's say, you don't agree with somebody, be it inside of a studio, or maybe it's a client or something like that, or if you're working in a tiny place with your friends, speak up when you don't agree with something. Definitely speak up, but don't make it personal, in the sense that I want to speak up because I just don't agree with with this person. If you feel like there's something that can be changed, or something that can be done to improve whatever the project is, whatever the product is, definitely speak up, because the problem with that, the problem with never saying what you feel and what you think, is that you will start to resent other people, and that it's not because the people are wrong. You start to resent them. You simply start to resent them because you don't have your own boundaries. You kind of you let things slide, in a sense, and then you just kind of get bitter. Like everything is becoming almost like just a good opportunity to blame somebody or something on. So it's definitely not a good thing to keep those things inside of you. Again, if they're productive, if they're constructive, and it's not something that you have a bad day and you say, hey guys, like, enough of this. But again, just use your head. It should be quite obvious. Good habits for work environment is, don't be late. Don't ever be late to work. If you are late to work, just apologize, say it will never happen again. Like, do not explain yourself. If the train broke down somehow on the way to work, it's not exactly your problem, but it's not exactly an excuse. So just be professional, don't take those things kind of lightly. People don't want to wait for you. They don't want to think that you might show up like 1 hour late, say, even though there's a meeting, or maybe there's somebody needs to do something. So just be a little bit more professional, and simple thing, but definitely important one. What else can I say? In terms of what don't do, again, it's don't complain. If you can't really do something, do not complain. Do not say that this is not possible. give it your best shot. Spend some time, stay after work, spend 1 hour late, and see if you can figure out something, if you can solve the issue. And in most cases, I would say 99% of the time, you can definitely solve the issue that is present in front of you. So do not be the kind of person who says, like, this is not possible, hey, stop giving us those kind of things, because we can't really do it. Because it's, again, in most cases, the things are actually doable. It's just that we tend to live in the kind of comfort. So if first shot, if something doesn't work, we simply go, okay, this is not possible. Most cases are solvable, so try to solve them first before you say that this is not possible. Don't let the way you feel affect the way you work. It's a strange thing, but it might sound strange, but if you have a bad day, or if you have something, you feel tired or whatever, don't think, or you just don't want to do something. It doesn't have to be something physical. You just simply, there's a task in front of you and you need to pull hair. Nobody likes doing hair. That's the reality. But no, there's just probably like 2 people on the planet who likes making hair for video game characters. But if you feel like you don't want to do something, it doesn't mean that tomorrow somehow you will be in a completely different state of mind and you will say, oh, actually today I feel like doing something like that. So it will never happen. It's just a trick of your mind that's saying that, okay, probably some other time, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, I will definitely be up for making this thing. So instead of kind of constantly postponing, just do the job, just do the work, whatever it is, whatever you need to do. So do it. There will never be a perfect opportunity, a perfect time for it. That's probably it. I mean, there's definitely a lot more to talk about, but that's probably the ones that come to my head.
Yeah.
Oh, I would say, just quickly to add something here, I would say, do not think that you're some kind of machine that you can always work for forever and it's going to be fine. Take some breaks. Take some goddamn breaks. Do not sit in front of your computer for 3 hours straight. Or if you do sit for 3 hours straight, get up, do something different. Just defocus. That's one way to put it. Just defocus. Just look outside. Make your make your eyes see something that is wider than just the screen that is in front of you. It will definitely help out, especially when you feel frustrated. You just get up, do something else, do something, maybe call somebody or have a chat, something like that, something to defocus, and then get back to work, because we cannot just sit there for 8 hours straight and think that if we're going to do this daily, it's going to be okay. Okay, we need breaks. We need something that we can actually. We need to rest. We need something that is relaxing and not just work.
Yeah. So another question is, why better to take action than wait for perfection? Actually, most of artists do this, even also me.
Well, I guess it's a good thing not to take action when you're fishing, because you're just waiting there. But waiting works, I think, only when you have in your life, if you have all the right tools, if you have all the right skills developed already, you have some experience behind you. I would say it's a good thing to maybe sometimes wait up for a different opportunity to come. But if you're just starting with something, and if you haven't developed yourself in the least, you don't have experiences at all, you don't really know people and all those things, waiting will definitely not get you anywhere. So it's it's a complicated subject, the perfection and all of that. It's just that action has to be driven towards perfection. That's the way I think about it. As an artist, that's exactly what I want to do. That doesn't mean that just the technical aspect of things, even though it's certainly the case. Every time we do something, we want it to be as good as it can be, because otherwise we simply wouldn't start on anything else. It just kind of, okay, this is done, this is perfect, let's do something completely different. We're always striving for perfection, whether it's something aesthetical, whether it's something that is inside of us. And I think, especially as artists, that's kind of, I guess, the priority. It's you don't ever want to be in a place where you look at your work and you say, well, this is good enough. It's because it's never good enough. Nothing what we do is kind of good enough. It's almost like, when you see people doing gymnastics and they do crazy barrel rolls and backflips and all of those things, and they land on one leg and they're almost like barely standing. They don't just say like, okay, this is good enough. It's like, no, they're going to try it again and again and again before they reach some kind of perfect form. So I have absolutely nothing against trying even the same thing, trying to do it again and again until you reach something that is actually closer to perfection. I mean, perfection is not reachable, but that's the goal. That's the kind of the point. Otherwise, what is there that driving you? Certainly has to be taking. I mean, if we don't take action, we simply die. So that's a good motivation. But the action has to be driven towards something. So to me, that something is exactly that. It's perfection. So waiting for perfection, that's just a strange thing. It's not like it's going to knock on your door and, hey, here I am.
Yeah.